Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
And a good afternoon. Thanks for joining us for 17 News at Noon. I'm Eitan Wallace, and we thank you for being here today. I'm in for Nicole Gitsky. All right, well, coronavirus cases continue to surge in Kern County. Public health officials announced 301 new cases of the virus this morning. That's the highest daily reported cases caseload that we've seen in months. Now, more than 9,000 people are recovering from the virus at home, while 60 people are being treated for the virus in local hospitals. Since March, 432 people have lost their lives due to the pandemic here in Kern County. Public health experts are predicting a hard winter season, as models suggest the rise in cases will continue for several more months. Now, with COVID cases on the rise in nearly every state, there is a great news coming from drug makers today. Pharma company Moderna announced that early results from their vaccine trials are looking extremely good. That big announcement from Moderna comes after the company says its vaccines is about 94 to 95% effective. It comes after a trial in about 30,000 people or so watching its data. Now, they say that there are no major safety concerns here. Moderna's vaccine comes out after Pfizer announced its vaccine was about 90% effective a few weeks ago. Now, the big difference between the two, Moderna says its vaccine does not need to be kept refrigerated and at incredibly low temperatures, which could help with the distribution and shipping of its vaccine. Now, all of this comes as the CDC says upwards of 35,000 Americans could die from the virus in the coming weeks, as soon as December. Now, Americans say they need this vaccine quickly. And it appears it'll get in the next couple months. It'll get right here on American soil. Now we want to take you over to Governor Gavin Newsom in Sacramento, speaking live at an update for the coronavirus. Here's the governor.
Advances not only forward, but also move through toggling backwards. We also talked about an emergency brake based upon data and based upon conditions that would provide for a framework of flexibility to tighten restrictions. We have counties now that we are moving back based on that blueprint, based upon the emergency brake, based upon the protocols that we put into place when we announced this blueprint 11 weeks ago, that will allow us to move back, or for that matter, to the extent we see some stability, to allow us flexibility going forward, but counties to move back after 1 week, not just 2 weeks. As you may recall, we collect data, we adjudicate the data with our local health officers, with the state of California. We have a 2-week protocol and process to do that. Pursuant to the announcement we're making today, counties will move back after 1 week, not 2 weeks. And because of significant increases that we've experienced, and I'll show you the map here in a moment, some counties will move multiple tiers, not just, for example, yellow to orange or orange to red. You will see some examples of counties moving from orange to purple. So we will not be moving simply to one tier based upon the data, the significant increases. You'll see some jumps, multiple tiers backwards. Counties that move back also must make industry or sectoral changes urgently. Instead of a 72-hour wait period, we want to see the application and implementation of these new tiered status occur in a 24-hour period. By the way, we will reassess our tiered status on a multiple basis, meaning multiple times during a week. You recall, based upon tradition, over the course of 11 weeks, Dr. Galley follows up these Monday press conferences on Tuesday and updates the movement between counties. Today, we are moving forward, not waiting for Tuesday to make announcements. As it relates to those announcements last week, you saw Dr. Galley's presentation. You saw the following map. Number of counties in purple, 13, red counties, 22, orange, 17, and 6 counties in yellow. There was progress still being made. As you know, we've made tremendous progress moving forward in modifying our status, meaning providing more flexibility pursuant to this blueprint between late August and October. We are now moving backwards, not forwards. And last week was an indication, an early indication of some movement in the, more restrictive direction. Let me specifically tell you what I mean today. 40 counties now will be moving backwards in the state. You'll see, and I'll show you again, in the original last week tiered status, you had 13 counties in purple, 22 in red. Today, we have 41 counties in purple, 11 in red, less in orange, yes, less in yellow still. So take a look at the map, not those numbers, and you can just see all the purple all up and down the state. Again, I'll go back so you can get a real sense of where we were just a week ago. And now, again, the purple throughout the state of California, represented in the tiered status update that we are announcing here today, not waiting till Tuesday. Every age group, every demographic, racial, ethnic, in every part of the state, we are seeing case rates increase and positivity rates increase as well. No longer concentrated in just a handful of counties. We are seeing community spread broadly now throughout the state of California. As a consequence, we want to update you on the preparedness for this moment. We haven't been sitting back passively or idly. In fact, quite the contrary. We have been preparing precisely for this moment. We've been modeling this moment. We've been foreshadowing this moment for many, many months since the beginning of this pandemic. You'll recall a number of surge facilities that we had advanced in the midst of this pandemic and those more difficult summer months. We worked with the federal government. We worked with state, regional, as well as county agencies to set up sites in Fairview and Porterville, up here in Sacramento at the old Arco Sleep Train Arena. Those sites are in what we refer to at the Office of Emergency Service lingo in warm status. We are now dusting off that status, and we have the ability with 11 surge facilities throughout the state of California to stand them up within a day or within certainly a calendar week. We have capacity, if needed, again, if needed, of roughly 2,000 beds, total capacity, in the surge status, 1,872 to be precise. I should foreshadow the first site that will move from warm status, and we'll start preparing it, will be down in Imperial County. So that's just a preview. Over the course of the next week or so, we'll be leaning in a little bit more aggressively, specifically into Imperial County. But that's the inventory. That's above and beyond the existing inventory, which as of today is ample, and I'll get to that in a moment. I don't want to I don't want to create more anxiety than is necessary at this moment. I also want to give you an update on the inventory we've been able to accrue because of our large-scale contract with BYD and others, and are Simply Making California efforts to find domestic California-based manufacturers to provide sanitizer and face shields and gowns and the like. Our inventory is substantially greater than it's ever been. Just take a look at the total number of N95 masks. 180 million are currently in our cache, in our inventory and storage. And if you add to that over 522 million masks total, over 500 million masks now are in inventory if you include surgical mask procedure and surgical masks into that total. So you can get a sense of the preparation. You can get a sense of the effort, particularly on PPE, as it relates to the needs of our first responders and to address all of that anxiety that we had to address in what we referred to those wild, wild west days early in this pandemic. We have not been passive. We've been very active at building up those supplies, including, again, those surge facilities throughout the state. Now, as it relates to our approach, I'll just remind you we had a three-pronged approach. I'm going to add the vaccine commentary as a fourth prong in a moment, talk about that. But I'll remind you that three-pronged approach pre-vaccine was around prevention, testing, and isolation. And on the prevention side, I'll just remind you we were the first state in this country to do a stay-at-home order. We moved a number of months ago with a mask mandate. We've already distributed 600 million masks. That's not the 500 plus million that's in our inventory. We've already distributed 600 million masks. And we put out, again, 11 weeks ago, this blueprint for a safer economy with these 4-tiered status strategies. The testing has significantly increased. Over 21 million tests have been conducted in this state, larger number of tests than any other state in the country. Now, per capita, we are not where we want to be, and that's why we opened that new state lab a few weeks back, which will allow us additional testing capacity at peak of about 150,000 PCR tests a day. That lab is just getting up. It will take a number of months, but it's a flywheel. Every day, every week, more and more tests are being conducted, and over the course of the next few months, tens of thousands a day, and eventually over 150,000 tests a day. The test turnaround is now 24 to 48 hours, which is much better than it's ever been.
All righty, we are listening to Governor Gavin Newsom live in Sacramento, providing an update on the coronavirus here in the state of California. Big news you just heard, that the governor is saying the state is moving backwards. We're not moving forward. He says 40 counties now are back in the purple tier. If you took a look at the map there, you saw that includes Kern County. Just a reminder, the purple tier is the most restrictive tier. That means that much of the activities we do are now going to have to be limited once again. That means indoor operations at restaurants, gyms, places of worship, and movie theaters. According to the purple tier, that is, those indoor operations will have to cease soon. Now, the governor did not specifically mention Kern County there, but he mentioned a few other things just briefly. He mentioned that you have 11 surge facilities throughout the state, and they have an ability to stand up those surge facilities where you could have patients up to 1,872 for bed capacity, where they would stay in the event the state needs to put those 11 surge facilities. You notice the governor specifically mentioned the city of Porterville there is one of those places where they could have those surge facilities. So that's the latest. That's a brief update from the governor.
Welcome back. Your time now is 12:16, and we're checking out your forecast with Kevin.
Yeah, Maddie's at home. She's joining us again. She'll be back with the latest of the afternoon news in just a few minutes. Let's talk weather, and we've got clear skies out there right now. We'll be looking at possibly some winds to pick up. I was just looking at some latest models, and I'm going to update that in just a second here. But I want to talk about the tropics as well, because we are tracking a very powerful storm right now. This is Iota, and you may ask, where is it? It's near Nicaragua, Honduras, and eventually passing through El Salvador. Right now it is a Category 5, and Iota is the strongest November storm on record. It was tied as a Category 4 from a storm back in 1999, but now this storm is packing a punch. Gusts 195 miles per hour. 60s in the valley right now here at home, and we've got 70 out in Mojave, 85 in Los Angeles today, 90 in San Diego. We're in November, and even the beach is looking hot today. Pismo Beach right near 82. There's a wind advisory there. Strongest of the winds in the mountains out of the west, 25 to 35, could see gusts near 50. I'm going to put a southeast wind 10 to 15 out there as of right now. Even if we see these lighter winds in the valley, we could still see some of that blowing dust, and it'll get strong grapevine as well. We need the rain. We're kind of pulling back on the rain amounts for the month of November. Now we're only up about 1/10 of an inch. We had a pretty good amount with that last storm when we picked up 3/10. Air quality today will be moderate with an AQI at 78, and sunny skies today, and 73 in Bakersfield, 71 in Delano, 72 in Taft, so comfortable 70s. For the mountains, 72 in Frazier Park. Tehachapi, you'll be near 70, and then near 80 into the Kern River Valley. And then for the desert today, 74 in Mojave, 75 in Ridgecrest. Here's a look at the extended forecast. And tomorrow with that ridge pushing east, we'll warm up near 80, then right back down with some clouds on Wednesday. And then those 60s will be around throughout the weekend. For the mountains, we're looking at 71 tomorrow, and then a 10-degree drop on Wednesday as that system pushes on through and mostly cloudy. 50s on the board starting Thursday. And then for the Kern River Valley, a little bit breezy through tomorrow as well. And the 70s, and then back to 60s and some clouds Wednesday as well. So as we go throughout the afternoon, just expect those breezes to kind of pick up around the Kern County area.
Walmart counts customers again amid a surge in coronavirus cases. The nation's biggest retailer is back to counting the number of customers in its stores as the number of cases rises. Walmart had been limiting customers' numbers to roughly 20% of a store's capacity, but stopped monitoring people as they entered and left. starting up again Saturday. Walmart is also switching up its Black Friday sales strategy, sticking to in-store sales but breaking them into 3 different events to cut down on the number of customers. Finally, here at noon, Kern County is moving back into the purple most restrictive tier for coronavirus restrictions here in the state. Governor Newsom just announced that dozens of counties are moving backward because of the spread of the virus in communities. In fact, 41 counties in our state are now in the purple tier.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to KGET.com.